Hi, everyone, and welcome to my first episode of 30 Days of Transformation, where I'm going to teach you tools, tips, techniques, and things that I have learned and discovered along the way in order to fully embrace the journey to my true self. And this is something we hear a lot about, but what is the true self? What does that really mean? And when it comes to living an authentic life and being authentic, we've been programmed, and a lot of people feel like that chameleon that is constantly changing just to fit in or just to stand out or to be accepted, really. But we cannot come into this place of acceptance or being accepted by other people if we haven't accepted ourselves. So we tend to go through a lot of challenges and the experiences we go through as a reflection of who we are so that we can awaken and to our power, to who we are. And so in this next 30 days, I'm going to share with you what it means to truly be authentic. And so, the first thing I want to talk about today is a sense of learning how to free that authentic self, learning how to unlock that part of you so you can connect to that inside of you. Because obviously, it's an inside job of transformation, right? And we all know that. But um, it doesn't hurt to be reminded sometimes because we're going through these cycles and layers of continuous over and over challenges that keeps pointing us in a direction that we continue to face certain things until we find that inside of ourselves, whatever that is. And again, I'm going to share with you over the next 30 days what that's going to look like for yourself connecting to your true self. And so as we dive into being your true self, if you're in here watching me, be sure to let me know what that means to you. I would love to hear what it means to you to be your true self. And what are you doing to stay in alignment with that version of your true self? For me, one of the things about the true self means that I'm really in a place of being able to express myself fully, being able to be all of me. And that's where the separation comes in, especially in the twin flame journey, is because we're separate from our own parts. We're separate from our own pieces of ourselves that we have denied or rejected, which is why we're getting the denying and the rejection from other people around us when it comes to love, if we can't love ourselves. And so the challenges come in order to help us confront inside of ourselves what it is we're not seeing in ourselves. And most of us can't see in ourselves who we truly are because we've put a mask on for who we've been and who we've conformed to through other people, what their expectation is of us or what they think we should be. And these are a lot of even unconscious programs. And what I'm finding is that when we go through these cycles and these layers, we're going through the spiritual side of waking up. We're going through a mental side of knowing that there is a problem, so to speak. But we've also been going through the emotions. A lot of people then have these trapped emotions that are stored, that are connected to the feelings that they've taken on and we're the childhood wounds, and to be going through experiences so that it connects to us in a way, or reflects to us, I should say, who we truly are, so we can wake up to who we truly are without the things we adopted, right? And so based on that, then as we go through this process and we're trying to uncover who we are, we're trying to take off the mask that we've put on to cover ourselves up for what everyone else has projected onto us. And we've taken on a lot of judgment of that because we feel judged. And there's a lot of past persecution, a lot of past karma that connects to these things. And we're also been clearing the generational wounds for the generations. And that's for a collective clearing. But one of the things that we're coming into now is we're coming into a place of being able to step out of that. And so part of what I was about to say is now it's our physical self. A lot of people are going through a lot of physical challenges because they've stuffed those emotions into their physical body. And now the triggers are coming to wake the body up so the body can purge out what it is stored. I've went through this also, a lot of layers of that within my physical state, which is one reason why I was so called last year to go out into what I said was the connection, collaboration, and community, and was really being called to go out into the land and share more of my tools that I have learned to help people heal for many years, like 30 years now. And so with that, then I finally kind of got to the place of awakening, which took my beloved to help us waking together to come to Sedona and being in Sedona now. And that's been a part of coming back into a physical alignment of physical healing of the physical self, the physical body, the land, the people, and being in community in a way that we reconnect. Hey, David, nice to see you. It's been a while, right? And you're probably on your way to work, right? So, or actually on your way home from work. I remember you used to watch me and Ray's on the way, which by the way, she's still going to be coming back. We're still going to be doing things. It's just, I have also been in this place of discovering more of who I am and figuring out what goes with me in that, because that's a piece of this. When we change inside and our physical bodies change and our physical reality changes to match who we are. So we really have to reflect on, what it serves me here, what serves me at the highest version of me. And that's your true self, being in alignment with doing the things that support the higher version of who you are becoming, because that's another piece of this. We are becoming someone new in this transformation. And in that process, it's really helping us face a lot of things we've suppressed. And so a lot of people that maybe have ran from seeing these or still have blind spots or still not seeing in the unconscious aspect that these programs are running unconsciously. And I have to say something I didn't finish. I wanted to say is getting back into the healing aspects of the land and in the physical reality for me, even helping to heal people and the physical again, like I did as a chiropractor, but in a different way, is part of my call to be here in Sedona now, which is why I've had such a huge transition in my physical space, my physical reality, that I've had to also catch up to that in many of these layers that I'm talking about before I could come back here and even know what's next for myself, what's next from the healing, what's next for what I'm to teach. And that's one reason why we're having the retreat in April coming up, to really pinpoint some of these things here in Sedona. And if you've not got plugged into that, you can check out a link in the description above or below, depending upon the platform that you're on. And if you're on Instagram, you're here with me, you can find that link in the bio. But the things that I have learned, in 30 years, really, but the things that I've really been taught to come back into the community with, been doing here in Sedona, and finding how magical it is to really help people step out of these loops so they don't have to keep repeating the same cycles, and really bridge the gap from who they've been to who they're becoming, which is the true self of the higher version of you, so that you don't have to keep repeating the cycles of feeling lost, feeling disconnected, feeling separate, feeling unsatisfied with what you're doing, because that creates sabotage. When you keep doing the definition of insanity, you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, expecting a different result. And then, as I mentioned, we're purging all of these different things that have been, we've taken on for our generations and the collective and the societal expectations of who we should be. And so it is now coming into the collective shift of, who do you want to be? And that's what people don't really know, because they've been in the dark, they've been in the wilderness, and they don't know who they want to be. But to become your true self, you really have to get clear on your values, on the desires, on what you want to do, on what you want to create, on what you want to have, and what you want to be. And really learning to be versus do also, because that's a part of the process. And, I had somebody recently ask me a question, and just this last week, And she watched one of my old videos on YouTube, which, by the way, if you're not already subscribed or haven't checked that out, make sure to like, comment, follow wherever, whatever platform that you're on, because I'm always offering content. But some of the content I've done in the past on YouTube was really coming up with a lot of questions with people this last week. And somebody said, can you give me an example of exactly what I need to do to live my heart's desires that I want to create that isn't here yet? I said, I can give you two examples that is really simple. And one of them was that I said, well, if you wanted to be in a relationship and you desire that person to show up and give you something as simple as flowers every week, don't wait for that person to buy you flowers. Don't wait for that person to show up. Buy yourself flowers every week. Now you're not missing what you desire. It's in your life. You're creating what you want. You're experiencing it, and there's no lack in it. And that means you're acting as if, okay? And then in addition to that, if you feel like you're not getting support, if you feel like you're not, don't have a support system, or you don't feel like you're connected to people, then show up and serve someone in need. And when you serve someone that's in need, you're going to actually gain so much out of it that you're going to have so much fulfillment from showing up and helping someone else. The next thing you know, people are going to show up to help you, because it's what we sow that we reap. You don't plant corn and get tomatoes. If you want to feel supported, you need to show up and be able to support people. And that's where people get hung up on this whole twin flame journey of feeling and thinking that I want this from that person, and I want this before I can have that, and I will give them this whenever they give me that or they stop this. That's not unconditional love. That is an expectation that's coming somewhere from a wound inside yourself, and that's not allowing you to be in alignment with your highest version of you that knows compassion, humility, and the ability to show up for people regardless of how they are, because that's usually their wound, and you don't have to own that wound for someone else. So, the biggest problem I see with this is people are really feeling judged and fearing being judged. But what you don't realize under all of this is you are judging. And that's a piece of this true self is coming into the realm of emotions. That is all of your emotions and every spectrum, good or bad. That was something I had shut off my whole life, was feeling bad or not feeling my emotions from a state that it was okay for me to not be Miss Positive. And I had to learn how to feel things that I didn't understand, to be able to then understand how other people felt and understand their needs based on my inability to know how they felt. That creates a disconnection in relationships. And we are here to redefine relationships. We're here to learn how to love and live life in a fulfilling aspect and in purpose. And one of the things, I was sitting down and redefining my own vision today, which was so beautiful because I uncovered some things that I'd forgot about and things that I wasn't able to tap into, because being in the wilderness, trying to discover who the truest, highest version of me was the unknown. And in the unknown, we're in a gap from who we've been to who we're becoming, and we can't see our way through what is next and how to move forward. And I'm a visionary. If I don't have a vision, I can't create from my highest version of me. I've been creating a lot of things, but not my highest version of me. My highest version of me, which is my true self, needs to have a vision. And that vision needs to be supported by my thoughts, feelings, actions, frequency, vibration, and taking aligned action with that vision. And what that truly means is learning how to be in a place of being, let's see, how do I want to say this? Because it came to me when I was doing this earlier, really, really good. And here it is: how to be intentional with all of my effort. Okay. And that means, where's my intention going? What am I placing my attention on? But not just what do I want to be in intention with? How am I going to show up every day living an intention? That's the key. because we are here. Hey, Heidi, welcome, welcome, dear. We are here to live a fulfilled life filled with purpose and passion and fulfillment and joy. And if we don't have those things, then we are out of alignment with our true self, because our true self wants to experience those things. So, that being said, I'm about to wrap up today. And if you're just coming in and you haven't heard me talk, go back and listen to the beginning of this, but just know my purpose and my intention for being here. And it's been on my desire and heart for a little while, but I had to get in alignment with myself before I could show up and help others as well, to the level that I choose to help others. But I'm doing a 30 days of transformation here. So it's going to be 30-day live. I don't 100% know if there's going to be a specific time. I'm just going to show up whenever it works, but you can always check back. There'll be a playlist on YouTube. If you're watching this on another platform, if you get plugged into my YouTube channel, Twin Flame Expert, you can, plug into the playlist. You'll know whenever I come live, and if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, it will notify you as I come live. Okay. So you'll know and you won't miss out, and you can show up. And I want to thank all of you. Even David and Heidi, you guys have supported me and showed up for me for years. And also Jeremiah, my beloved, he's on here too. It means a lot to me to have everyone show up here for me. That inspires me. My mom is even on Instagram here. Hello, Mama. And she's been going through some health issues. So please pray for her, because she needs some assistance with her health right now. And so back to what I was saying, though, if you're really, and this wasn't what I was saying, but just as this is coming through, if you're really, looking to discover more about that true self, align with that true self, and live that intentional life, or that life of intention, and be intentional with your efforts. That's one of the things that I'm going to be teaching with my beloved Jeremiah at the Sedona Rejuvenation Retreat in April, is really how to get out of that gap from who you've been to who you want to be or who you should be, and help you bridge that gap. Because the only limitation between you and who you should be is your unconscious programming and the barriers that you've placed in yourself and upon yourself. And so timelines have collapsed. It's what frequency, what vibration, what dimension, what part of the reality do you want to live? And that's where you got to get intentional and know what do you want, And so just a couple tips for you, some solutions that can help you maybe shift this mindset, is to start living your life daily with some time for reflection, to truly get to identify, understand, and discover who you are now. And if you can come into the place of honoring, love, and accepting the person you've been, instead of separating from that and judging that person, you can also then learn to love who you are now and who you're becoming, will then be easier to integrate with, because then you're not like blocking your blessing from being stuck in old patterns and old paradigms that are preventing you from embodying that full version of who you're meant to be. And most importantly, another thing I will say about that is you being able to show up, stand up, and speak up for yourself in ways that you express yourself fully. And when I say express yourself, I don't mean just speak. I mean how you live, living intentionally, like sharing your gifts with the world. And here is another thing. And I didn't mention the other couple things that I mentioned to the person I talked to that said, how do you show up? Well, actually I did. I mentioned two, but here's another one. The other way is, I'm going to give you an example. One of my goals has always been to do a couple different things. Take an art class, do some extracurricular thing like paint, photography. Well, it came on my radar because we're here doing retreats and going live with people into the vortexes and doing shamanic ceremonies and different things and healing in the vortex with people live. And a piece of that is tradition of the ancient roots of even my tradition of being Indian. My heritage is Indian, and I have a lot of Indian in me. And, so being here is like waking up that native Indian in myself, and my beloved too, Jeremiah, both of us. But wanted to be able to do, drum circles and be able to go into the healing aspects of the waking up inside of you, the music inside of you, and the rhythm inside of you. And that connects to the drum. And something I learned taking drum classes, when you do a collective drumming and you go and synchronize with each other, there's one beat out of all the different beats and rhythms that we connect as one. So when we get in rhythm with each other, we become one through that vibration of that beat of that drum. And so anyway, we're doing my goal, getting back to the point, is that when it came and crossed my path to take drum class, there was a lot of reasons why I thought about not doing it. Just being really transparent. That's who I am, is being transparent. And that's part of being your true self. But I recognized, no, who's the new version of me? The new version of me doesn't have to work all the time and put all this effort in all the time, even though I have been doing a lot of work to get a lot of things ready for these new 2 businesses that have been starting since being in Sedona. But it's like, what does that future version of me want to do? That future version wants to have time, to have fun, to be creative, to enjoy life, and to have fulfillment. And that meant, okay, that calls for drum class, even though there's more than one excuse for me to say no. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna be super intentional and take actions that align with that version of me. And that's how I've been living my life for a long time, but in the new version of that, and stepping up and expanding. So that's another piece of this. And I'm about to wrap this up, is that, we do this. We've been doing all this. We've been doing this work for a long time. And people really get stuck in the work, and they're really hung up on the work, being like, how much more? How much longer? Why do I have to deal with this? And why is this going on and on and on and on and on and on and on? Right? It's because those cycles are still running in our programs, and we haven't made the choice to step out of the loop and being able to be more intentional and more aligned with the true version of our best self, living our best life. And until you have the vision, without, and that takes planning time. And that's some of the things I said I did this morning, was some planning time. And I always thought it was Bill Phillips that said, if you plan to fail, you fail. If you plan to fail, you fail. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Sorry, I couldn't get it out there. It was backwards. So if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right. And I always thought it was Bill Phillips, but discovered today it was Benjamin Franklin, which is one of Jeremiah's big time gurus. And I'm like, oh, I read this in my journal or my daily planning, my lesson plan, which, by the way, I just got to say this, that I pulled out a life planner that I had went through up through February back in 2020. And the parts in it that had to do with creating the vision of who I was becoming, and like all these different things, I never filled out because I was never able to know who that version of me was until now. And so it was really cool because I got to go through the beginning of this thing, and I'm still working on it. But when I got through parts of some of January and then some of February, all of February had like where I took like a class on some courses and online courses, and did some things on prosperity and money and abundance. And I wrote down like all these different things. I did all my homework in it, and I got to revisit that today. And it's where I'm picking up, which is funny. And I had even drawn a picture in there of, prosperity and all kinds of things. So it's really kind of cool. And you can't make this stuff up. How I reintegrated with this life planner at the time, I knew it, like really like getting more intentional who I'm becoming, and that living that authentic version of that true self within myself, and taking the actions that are aligned with who that version is. But what's really cool, as we've went through this transformation, what is really cool is to realize that the vision that I'm creating now would have never been the vision I would have created 2 years ago, because I couldn't have seen that big. It's taken the transformation I've undergone over the last 3 years, basically, and especially when you guys that know, especially Heidi, I know you know, when I went through my COVID experience and the breakdown of who I was with that, and the reforming of who I've becoming out of that, all of that towering and really collapses the version of us that we've been, and now we got to go through the transformation to catch up with who we're becoming inside, and we don't even know who that is because we can't see that big. Because we can't see that big, we can't create that. So we have to sit in this holding pattern to catch up with what's coming in. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And they're stuck in this cycle, not sure, what to do. So that being said, the two tips again is just practice some self-reflection and also practice expressing yourself in ways of showing up and doing the things that you desire, and don't waiting in very small ways, very intentionally small ways. Don't overwhelm yourself. That's the thing that I've been being shown and doing and teaching is just simplicity, 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 getting back to the simple side of life. Don't overdo it. Don't plan too many things. But what I will say, if you really want to take action on this and really get in alignment and take a quantum leap, then I would suggest you take some action and get plugged into the Sedona Rejuvenation Retreat that's April 4th through 7th. And you can get plugged into that in the link above or below, depending upon which platform or the bio. They are on Instagram. And if you're not even there and you want to just look it up, you can go to Quantum Abundance Retreat. And that's plural. I'm not plural. That's singular. Retreat.com. QuantumAbundanceRetreat.com. Or the links around you. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow with more information, more information for you to transform yourself into this true version of you and help you hopefully through this 30 days. Please plug in with me and think of this 30 days as a transformation to your true self, just going through this series with me. Okay. Because I know it's going to be a lot of transformation for myself doing it. And I want to do this from a place of not just information, but also experiential things that I go through and have went through. And I would love for you guys to join me on the journey. I just have to say hello so much here. There's so many people popping in. You guys are just now popping in as I'm popping out. But Heidi, thank you so much. And you're so welcome for sharing. And hey, Crazy Lion, thanks for being back with us here on Sundays. And I'm going to be doing, just so anybody popped in, there's a live 30-day live starting today's day one. You can get plugged in on all these platforms, or you can follow me on YouTube and get signed up and subscribe. And that will, hit the notification bell and you'll know when I come live. And Cherie, bless you, bless you, bless you. You wish you could be here. And yeah, your mom is still needing attention. And Cherie, I don't know if you were in here when I talked earlier that my mama needs some prayers too. So if I'll be praying for your mama and you pray for my mama. And just so everybody knows, Cherie is a hometown childhood friend growing up. And so thank you so much. I love you so much, Cherie. I love all of you. I love all of you so much. If you're just getting plugged in, make sure to go back and watch from the beginning. Like, comment, share the shine. Let me know either live here or whenever you go back and watch, or anybody watching going forward. Let me know if you're on journey and you'd like to take this on board, I should say, and take this journey with me for the next 30 days to connect with your true self. I love you all. See you tomorrow.